All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to our Taneytown Athletic Association meeting for November 13th. So we are going to start with association reports. Since we have a lot of you, who wants to fight for it to go first? Come on. Don't be shy. Come on up here. You'll have to come up to the chair. Yep,
Okay.
there we go. Thank you, Kyle. We appreciate it.
Please speak directly into the mic.
Okay. I'm Kyle from FSK Soccer. Our season is now complete. In 2024, we serviced 811 players for the spring and the fall. So far, the Roberts Mill Park goals have all been moved off for the field repairs. We're waiting for confirmation on the storage at Memorial Park, but I think we have that worked out. Our off-season goal is to figure out a new structure for the schedules to try to eliminate the parking issue at Food Lion. I know I've asked this before. My board is continuing to ask if there's any additional parking that can go at Roberts Mill Park. I don't think there is, but I told him I would address it again. Also, there was a couple of events this season that we asked for police presence, and I don't think there was present at any of them. So that was, I expected a little bit of help, but we didn't get too much. Spring registration will be opening January 6th. It will run through February 28th. And then we're working on finalizing the budget and the wish list for you.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
Was the police presence that you asked for, was that for tournaments and?
It was for,
Primarily?
yes, in the spring, it was for one event. I can't remember. I think it was the Scrimmage Fest. And then it was for our end of season tournament, which actually we could have used some help because we had a lot of parking issues that day.
I bet.
With the line.
Okay.
And it ended up, we had more people than we expected because the weather was nice. So
Were there any officers present?
I did not see any present. I know that we asked for them to come to the fields because we have a couple parents that need reinforcement, and I didn't see anyone there, and I was there all day. So
Okay.
luckily, we didn't have any issues with the parent part, just parking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So, well, good for the parents.
Yeah.
Bad for the
Yeah.
parking.
For once.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle. All right. Who's up next?
Such an eager bunch.
Lorena, could I get you to push that mic up a little at the delegation seat, please?
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I'm Tisha Tracy Miller for baseball. We've ended our fall season. Everything went very well for the fall. Spring registration opens on November 23rd, closing on February 1st. We are going to be having a few walk-in registration dates. They haven't been set up yet at this point, but we will post those as soon as we have them. And then evaluations are scheduled for early February. We are doing discount cards this year, and each family, when they register, or for each child, they get 2 cards that they can either keep for themselves or they can then sell, which reduces their registration cost. And then as soon as we have the cards made up, I'll have copies sent to you to post on the page.
Perfect.
We do have a travel team this year for the 13 to 16-year-olds, which means that then we're going to need some more kids for that age group to field just a rec team.
Okay.
So if anybody knows of any kids, or if people want to encourage their kids at that age to play, 13 to 16 is going to have some openings. We want to make sure we have enough to actually field a team.
Right.
We don't want, if we have 5 kids to sign up and we don't have enough, we don't want to turn anybody away.
Right.
So we want to try to encourage more kids to sign up. But that travel team is a great thing, but then it does, reduce the number of kids we have for the rec team.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's all I have. The Field 1 renovations look wonderful, great. Can we get a copy of the invoice, the final invoice on that?
When I get them.
Okay.
I think they're due in tomorrow. I'll be receiving them.
Okay,
There are multiple invoices for the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I reported to, you and I had emailed, when I reported to the board the numbers, there was some shock. They were not expecting it. The first quote, I guess, we had gotten had been significantly lower than that. So they were really surprised that it was as high as it was. So we just wanted to see, maybe what caused it to be as high as it was.
Right.
So, yeah, that's all I have.
Anybody have questions? We good? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, Jenny Myers for lacrosse. We have a registration for spring is currently open, and it will close on January 31st. We currently have 54 registered for both boys and girls. We have a Try It Winter Clinic on December 30th at Carroll Indoor. We have 6 to 7 for girls and then 7 to 8 for boys. And with our season begins on March 1st. That's all.
All right. And you'll be utilizing, you and football will share again?
Yep, I think we're
This
gonna get a
year.
new agreement sent over
Okay.
to them, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
You'll have some brighter lights on the practice field at least. That project will be done by then.
Next. No. Come on down.
All right. Okay.
All right, microphone real close to you.
Come on down.
I'm never loud enough. Okay, so football, FSK Junior Eagles football, we just finished up our season. We had our 8U team and our 13U team make it to the playoffs. Our 9U and 10U team combined because neither had enough players, so they combined together to build a team, practice a couple weeks, and they actually won the Turkey Bowl.
All right.
Great.
That was a good way to finish their season. Registrations for football will open in March, so be on the lookout for that. And then that's all I have for them. Cheer completed their sideline games with football. They participated in their first comp 2 weekends ago, and the 14U team took first place. So
Awesome.
they did really well. The younger girls, I think, took third, so also didn't do terrible for their first time probably on a mat. That was pretty much a whole new team, so. Softball, we just finished our season. The 12U travel team finished as champions again. The 16U finished their season last weekend. They didn't win, but they did play very good ball, so that's all we can ask for. And then the rec side will have registrations opening probably in the next 2 weeks, so look for that. That's all I got.
Okay.
See, you guys don't get a break, do you? Never.
No.
You do it just by, yeah,
Yeah.
seasons. Now it's time for this season now. Does anybody have any questions thus far? Okay. And then, so Lorena, if you want to go ahead and update.
Yep, alrighty then.
from
Update on Memorial Park expansion project. Arrow, the engineer, still working on addressing state highways' new requirements for the plan so that we can get their approval and then move forward with the next steps, which are, we'll need approval from our planning commission. Then we'll need to convey the easement deeds for floodplain and forest conservation to the county, and then put that RFP out, award the contract, and then get construction going. I apologize for the delay. It's kind of out of our hands, and I guess a case of bad timing with State Highway switching their review consultants mid-review on us. The contractor for the sewer line rehab is already working in the park area. So if you look behind Field 1, you'll see all their materials and everything mobilized. They're going to be replacing or rehabbing that sewer line that runs back through that expansion part and then up through the rest of the developed park. But they'll be well out of our way by the time construction begins. So that's one good thing, I guess, about the delay is that they're not holding us up. So that's where we stand on that, unfortunately. I wish I had better news for you, but I mean, a year and a half ago, we thought we'd be finished and the fields would be playable,
Yeah.
and all that by now. But
Well, that access road, I mean, it's needed, for
it
sure.
is, Yeah, we really need
but
that.
who knew it would
Yeah, it really is. We tried looking at different options for the plan, but for the best traffic control for that expansion area back there. Otherwise, with just like the 2 points of entry coming in by the playground and over by, between the baseball and the football fields, that's just a recipe for disaster there. So this is just going to provide easy in and out for those parking areas and those fields, especially for emergency vehicles. And we don't want any delays. Oh, then it really will be, yeah, then it really will be back. Ah, It really, right, yeah, really, it really will be back to the drawing board then.
We discussed it a little bit at the Westcom meeting, and we didn't know if there was a possibility of making that grid some way where it's just you came in on one side and you went out the other. I don't know.
We did think about that, and we run it that way on bulk trash day. Everybody comes in by the football field and then exits by the war memorial. But that's kind of, a one-day event, and everybody knows the plan kind of thing. Whereas if it's like that all the time, I can just foresee accidents happening, people coming in the wrong way and then, colliding and who knows what. But we don't, Arrow doesn't think that there's going to be a problem with getting SHA's approval once we satisfy them. And most of it's about stormwater management and the drain. There's a little, I wouldn't even call it a stream, it's more like a rivulet. When we do get rain, that's there. And their concern is the access road going over that, but there's no way to avoid it. So, and where the road meets the street there, 184, they're a little, they're concerned about that. So it is what it is. I mean, I feel like, we're already bending over backwards for them. Initially, they said, yeah, we'll let you do it if you put in a sidewalk from this entrance up to St. Joe's. And we were like, okay, all right, yeah, well, we can do that. We'll just tie it into the whole contract. And then looking at it and, oh my gosh, the grading there, I mean, it's going to need a retaining wall. It's one thing after another with them. But, Arrow is optimistic that once they get everything that State Highway wants, that they'll be, all right, you're good to go. So, yeah.
So no issues with line of sight or anything like
No,
that?
we're-
Okay.
we're good
So
on that.
everything, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good on that.
All right.
So, that's all I have on that. Do you want me to just continue on?
Sure thing.
Okay. Fiscal year 2026 budget assistance request financial statements. Just a reminder, I need all those items on your wish list or requests by the end of this month, so I can start getting those prices and factor that into the budget, as well as financial statements, whatever you got. Yeah, and then we'll just go forward from there.
All right.
That's all I have on old
Okay.
business.
Anybody have any questions thus far? All right. Here we go. New business. I guess it's time for MOUs.
It is time for MOU renewals. Yep.
Okay.
We may need to make some modifications based on what we come out of our funding distribution methodology discussion. But, if we do, that's fine. Those are quick revisions. We're just hoping to get those out and get them signed and executed by the end of the year. So we should be good to go on that.
Okay. And then here's the fund discussion.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Assistance funding, trying to figure that out, so.
Right, so everyone's received the spreadsheets for everybody to see, what's been spent over the years, each fiscal year. We've said it in the past, funding distribution basically is on a needs basis, priority distribution method, basically. Safety being paramount, of course. So we've tried to accommodate as much as possible. We've floated the idea of just giving like a flat sum to everybody across the board, but that doesn't really make it equitable because that's going to be great for field hockey, not so much for soccer. It's not going to stretch as far, for soccer or a large organization. So we also considered distribution based on, like a percentage based on registration numbers. So, for example, if we've got a funding pool of 25,000 and soccer has 400 registrants, or in the past year, and baseball has, 200, and softball has 150, then we just allot the percentages based on those numbers. And then, like, soccer would get 55%, baseball would get 30, whatever, continue on with that. I don't know if that's equitable because, lacrosse, 54 players, that doesn't really give you a really good percentage of that pool. Don't know. So we're open to ideas. Let's throw some ideas out there and see what we can come up with. Or do we keep it the way it is?
And if somebody has ideas, if you could come up and speak, just to make
into
sure
the
we have you
microphone.
mic'd.
I've got one real quick. So what about like, if you take and look at like what each organization costs to run? Because that's gonna be different between like if you're renting a building versus having fields to upkeep and like like basketball uses the schools so they don't have to put dirt on fields and do grass. So like
Right.
all the different organizations they're just all different. Like it's
So you're saying maybe base it on a budget, like their operating budget?
yeah, like if
Compare that to their
soccer has
financial
to-
Cost to run.
statements?
the
Yeah,
cost to run.
like if soccer has to
program.
spend 20 grand a year to keep everything up and lacrosse has to spend 5 grand a year, then you base your percentages off of that, not so much the numbers in the,
In the
how
program.
many kids they have, but just what it actually cost them to run the program.
Okay, what do you, yeah.
We've been talking about this at soccer meetings, just different ideas that I could bring tonight. So they did talk about the amount of registration and then splitting up by percentage. I know like lacrosse would be less. However, they thought maybe there could be like 10% would be the minimum, and then like so that it wasn't, so the smaller organizations still got a decent chunk, but then the larger organizations were able to get more. And then it also was brought up that some organizations use others' fields, so they aren't really responsible for the repairs of that field. So like we're 2 seasons and very hard on the field, and like I'm every season asking for better fields. But other sports like use football's field or whatever. But football probably is the one who, like when I looked at the budget, didn't look like other field maintenance came out of other people's budgets, if that makes sense. So that's what, I know I'm biased because soccer is the biggest, but
Right.
we also probably have the most amount of bills
Well,
with insurance
yeah.
and stuff like that.
I do like that
Otherwise.
idea of at least giving a minimum to the smaller organizations so that they don't get, 2%.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's
a
working hard.
pool.
Everybody's trying to
Right.
grow their
Yeah,
program. So
absolute- Right.
like, I think that there could be a minimum, whether it's 10%, 5%, whatever you guys
Right.
decide, but then also maybe there needs to be a cap too, where there's a maximum amount as well.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is not an easy decision, that's for sure. Trying to figure out how we
Right.
divvy this out to make sure it's fair for, everybody and.
Well, like what you're saying as far as, sharing fields and not necessarily sharing costs, that would show in like what each, group is, like their actual expenses for the
Right.
year. So like if you did something like the minimum and then had the rest of it based on, like you said, how many bills you got, like, I'm sure there could be something, worked out.
Right. I'm assuming you all have operating budgets, put something together? Okay. Okay. All right. Something to consider.
Any other suggestions, come forward.
Okay. Thank you, Kyle.
I like all of that. That all makes sense. I don't know if there's a way to work in somehow if there was a large project that needed to be done for specific organizations, particularly say lacrosse. Say they came across a field, a land that they could build a new field, but they would need the money then, if they were getting the least amount of money, but still have some extra there for them to be able to do a big project. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to set aside any money, but to have, I don't know how you do it, but to have an option for if there was a big project coming up for somebody to be able to utilize that.
Like having an emergency fund, but maybe at the end of the year, if there was still money left in it, you could just split it between the organizations?
Yeah,
Or if
something like
because
that.
I know every single organization has emergencies throughout the season.
Right. Mhm.
So maybe that would.
Right. Well, obviously, if it's something that's come up that's a safety issue, we would address that with whatever
Immediately,
funds. I mean, as far as money left over at the end of the year, we always go over budget anyway, just not so much with you guys, but just the other needs, the other things that go on in the parks, and things that come up there too that aren't planned for or budgeted for. So. But that's a valid point, just, some kind of doorway, if you will, if there's a project or something on the organization's horizon, to be able to have some assistance or a means of assistance for that.
Kind of do what the state does. They put a certain portion away in what's called the rainy day fund.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put a portion of the annual budget for the sports associations into the rainy day fund, if there is an emergency, a building burns down, you have a flood that ruins all your equipment, or like was stated, they got looking at a piece of property to put a new field on. You would have that fund that you can draw from for those kind of emergency, extraordinary expenses.
Right. Well, in the past, what we've done is I've taken, and that's why I get all of your requests first. Take that, those are priority, and then I go back and see, okay, what do we need to do, in the parks? And then that kind of filters in at the bottom. In this case, if we were to find out, okay, this would be the pool, the funding pool that we'd have this fiscal year, and however we decide that we're going to distribute that, it would kind of have to be flipped where, okay, I've got to take all the park considerations and prioritize those, front load those, and then what is going to be left in between the difference of those costs and what we can reasonably expect to be approved, for the funds. And then that difference would be what we could allot to the organizations. I mean,
So are you given a specific number? Or is it just you send the request and have it?
right. Yeah, that's what, so yeah, in the past, like I said, I've factored in, okay, this amount for baseball field 1, this amount for field improvements at Roberts Mill, whatever. And then I go back and, okay, well, we need to repair this over, at Memorial or what have you, that kind of, non-sports related.
Okay, we're gonna put 25,000 towards sports organizations. There's not like a number like that.
Right, exactly, because they take priority over, I work on those first.
Which makes sense. I was just clarifying.
Right.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah, so,
We appreciate everything you've done, just so I didn't say that. But
yeah.
I should have thrown that out there first.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay.
sure we all feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not easy with sports organizations
Right.
and their needs, and
Yeah.
Lorena's in, yeah, I mean, a department of one, trying to figure out how she can satisfy everybody, but equally, and nobody gets mad at anybody else, so,
yeah.
depending, so
yeah.
that's a hard, yeah.
It is,
that's a
but we've
hard
come a
theory.
long way. I think we've come an
Yes.
extraordinarily long way from when I came on board. So, we've definitely made some strides. But as you all know, it's constantly evolving, constantly. There are constant requirements or needs, things that come up, things you don't plan for. You just, got to have the funding for it. So,
Mhm. Like graffiti.
Mm,
They're cleaning up the parks from that.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, does anybody have any other
I just have one more
suggestions?
comment about it. So something that we did at West Carroll was we split the organizations into like a large program and a smaller program, like into two tiers. So maybe that's something too that you could look at where like the larger programs, I think it was, the stuff was 100
I think it's 101.
So
And
like
then
you're
100
considered like a large
players.
organization and that I don't know how that would work out in TAA, but just another
Yeah.
And we counted full seasons, right, Kyle? So,
counted for the year, I think.
yeah, so even if they had 2 seasons, we counted
Combined.
Yeah.
Okay.
counted the number of registrants for the.
Total for the year. Okay. Okay.
And does it take into account people who have multiple seasons?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I guess if we were to go by registration numbers, it would have to be like a yearly number.
Right.
Like, let us know what your registration numbers were last year, whole year, spring, fall seasons, combined. And then, we could go from there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is that what, do you think, is that what we're looking at, do you think? Basic, like,
I think that's a good place to start. You're also gonna have to consider like field hockey and football are sharing the field. So
Right.
like when we asked for bleachers, it wasn't just for football.
right,
It was
And that's part of the thing.
shared,
like,
it's a shared,
It probably
it's a
came out of
benefit.
the football.
Yeah.
It was a football spreadsheet, but really both sports aren't using it. So that's like
Right.
sharing fields.
Yeah.
We're not sharing fields right now, so everything for soccer would come out of that. But
right,
you're splitting, you're by yourself, you're at work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so,
yeah.
but like when we were using THS, we were sharing with softball some,
Mhm.
so.
I mean, just coming into this, I'm new to all of this stuff, so like learning everything. But like, I'm more than happy to take some of the football costs. Like, I think football and lacrosse need to communicate just a little bit more and just say like, hey, like, this is what we need, and
I
like,
think
and I'm
that'll
like, well, let me take that, like.
I think that'll happen now that TJ's
TJ's
there.
there, yeah, I
He's
agree.
part of both boards. I think that communication will get.
It's, yeah, definitely a lot better, but yeah, I think between the two of us, we need to coordinate the request, because like, the football requested practice lights on the practice field. I had no idea, and I requested it too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
right,
But it ended
got
up
you
on
covered.
football. It
Yeah,
ended up
yeah,
on football though, so
Right.
I guess they got the request first, but
yeah,
definitely something that we can discuss.
I think for some of the larger projects, I got a self-help grant. Like my goal
Mhm.
is to deliver this week. And it was a fraction of what I would have been, and
Mhm.
I think field hockey's different because you have like 80 to 90 some girls. It was a good year. That's
Mhm.
good for us. But yeah, it's not fair for me to get a whole bunch of money when you have somebody that's 400 or 500 kid basketball. It's just, but for us, like field paint, $400 or $500 in field paint is our biggest.
Mhm.
And we're the only ones that use that field.
right,
So like we have big costs like that. Well, like last year I needed a whole bunch of different things coming in as a new president and things weren't ordered in the past. This year I really don't need, that's my big expense.
right.
So I think it's also varies year to year possibly.
Yeah, it does, it does.
So you said you did put in a self-help
I did,
grant?
and I have no problem, yeah, they.
Okay.
They even had leftover money. I mean, they didn't even, that was with all the funding.
Yeah, that kind of rolls into our next thing that we were going to talk about.
Right,
Kind of
Yeah.
help to
Mhm.
see if anybody can. so.
right.
So I think programs from West Carroll can apply for them by themselves.
Yeah. Just so everybody at home can hear and, they might have,
Involved in West Carroll, they can apply for self-help by themselves, but like football does not belong to West Carroll. It is just a TAA sport.
Well, that's what I thought, but I know baseball, not being part of West Carroll Rec, in the past, they secured some self-help grant
They told
funding.
me that they told me that wasn't allowed.
You can get it through TAA.
I have to get it through you.
Okay, okay. Well, then it's still
it can
workable.
still happen, yeah.
Yeah,
But
We
I
would
I
just
guess
have
it's
to
still
sign.
considered, we're
Football.
still considered a rec council, I guess, that's.
So as football,
yeah.
I can't apply for it. I can tell Lorena, hey, I need help, and she can sign off on that.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's a
Right,
little
it ha-
gray area.
What has to go through the rec council? Like, so, like, obviously we need to utilize it more. Like I said, there was money left over. About $30,000 got left on the table from the budget. And generally what they do is they have, the first round of it is in like September, and whatever they have left over, they do it again in the spring. This year they may not do that because um, they're talking about rolling it back into the budget and whatever. So the time to take advantage of it is the first one in September.
So I can tell you that Cheer had hoped to apply for one to put a spring floor in the new building, but you can't ask for it till the building's done.
Yeah.
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 So a
Right.
spring floor for the building is gonna be about $50,000.
Okay.
So that's what we were hoping, that,
Right.
Well, and so there's a limit on it. So each rec council can get like 25,000. Now, I don't know how many rec councils there are. If everybody put in for 25,000, I don't
I
think it
think
would all
there's
get.
12.
Yeah, I don't think it would all
Wow.
get. They don't have that much in the budget. It's probably like 100 or 150,000 or something that they budget for it. So, but yeah, like all the groups here, like some of them will have to go through TAA. All the West Carroll ones go through West Carroll. Um, Even if you're kind of both, like I just feel like TAA, West Carroll, and all the sports leaders need to work together to put 25,000 in through each one every year.
Yep.
Like, and then let's see what they, because they're gonna, if they have more requests, then they sit down and they, try to figure out who needs it the most, whatever. And then like if you don't get it this year, then they'll try to help you the following year, kind of thing. But you know, I don't remember how much yours was. Was it like 12? So like, so that was all that was put in out of the 50,000 that we could have asked for between the two, two rec councils. And with there being 30 left over, it would have been non-contested. Like, there would have been 30,000 awarded somewhere, the rest of the portion to West Carroll and another 25 here. And like I know Lorena said, if you guys don't know how to apply for it or don't, she'll help walk you through it. Jenny knows how to do it over through West Carroll. She did it for years with baseball. So I think we got it 4 years in a row. We got the full $25,000, like, the 100 grand into the baseball program. And I mean, it's self-help. So you do have to do some of the work. You do have to pay portion of it. It's not, they don't pay for labor. You got to, supply your labor. And I think you have to pay, is it 20%?
There's the percentage, yeah.
Yeah, so you get 25,000, you gotta pay 5,000 for it, so, but
Yep.
that's a lot better than
The full price,
full
yeah.
price, so like, I think just, if they do offer it for the spring, let's, figure out some needs and put in for it. Obviously, if there's 12 rec councils going for 30,000, might not get a whole lot. If they don't do it, let's make sure we definitely hit it hard for next fall.
When do the applications usually open up for the fall?
August, and they are due
Yeah,
September
Yeah, you have to,
10th, I think.
yeah, it's
Is
like
the
due,
first is
and
it
then
the
you have
first
to go-
Wednesday of September and February? I think it's the first
That
Wednesday
could
of
be
those
right,
months.
yep.
yeah, and you have to go to their meeting, like that's the big, like
Yep.
somebody from your organization has to go to the meeting, and that's it.
Yeah, answer questions.
I think you're asking when the application opens, because that's, September's when it ends, correct?
Yeah, that's when it
It's
closes.
like in
That's when
August.
it's
Their
due.
so their fiscal year starts in July when the new budget comes out. So it's like right after that you can start. That's when they put out how much they're gonna give out, and then then you can start applying for it up till that September deadline.
You mentioned they had to go to the meeting. This person from the sports
Yep.
Yeah.
organization has to go, not the
Right.
association? Like
Correct.
every sports, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So anybody that's
So
asking,
she can help with the paperwork. She doesn't have to go.
okay,
Like,
but every, like the head of okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
nice.
Somebody representing the organization who can answer specific questions about the
Questions about the-
project
okay.
or, the costs and
Insight,
all
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry, I don't know if you know this or not, but so Bill told me that he applied for it 2 times before I took over, and he was denied both times because he was asking for work to a Taneytown athletics field,
Mhm.
and it wasn't owned by the county, so they told him that they couldn't work to that.
Well, there's certain things that the self-help grant like allows and doesn't allow. So whatever he was asking must not fit the parameters
He
of
was
what.
asking for a fence around the big field, and then he also asked, I believe, one year for a tall,
Backstop type of
backstop
thing.
that before, so the balls don't go down the hill during games.
Yeah,
And he was declined both times from what I was told.
yeah. I don't know anything
Then like
about
more permanent
why.
projects.
I mean, I know
Oh, well.
for baseball we got like drainage tile, like we got dirt.
I just didn't know if it mattered because it wasn't a county-owned
Right,
field.
yeah.
Well, Tawny.
I mean, have they
Baseball-
changed their
Look at Memorial
guidelines
Park's not a
since?
county-owned field, and
Right.
we got stuff there, so.
Yeah,
I might not have been told accurately.
yeah.
That's why I was asking.
And I said, it would
Well-
depend on the permanence of that,
They might give,
the
pr-
difference between.
Yeah, they might give preference to a
Maintenance and-
county.
It
yeah,
could have been, it
to
could
a
have been the
county field.
cost could have been more than what was allowed. It could have been that they already had gone through it and, I mean, it might not have been that he got denied for that reason. It could have just been a different reason. Yeah.
It just seemed like it was
Right.
two different kind of sites.
it was, yeah, because it helped put the applications
Okay, I can remember
together.
those before you were.
Yeah, and I know that they give preference to county-owned properties, because, it's their funding, so they're gonna put their funding towards the county properties. Right, but, yeah, I don't remember hearing anything like a specific rejection because it was a city-owned property versus a county-owned property. I don't know.
But maybe as we get closer to the next application, we can just call and ask some
Yeah.
more
sure
specific
you can-
questions as to what the,
I
yeah.
think you can see those applications all the time. I think they're posted. They
Yeah.
just won't accept them.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just talking more about like specific
What the
questions and
parameters are,
guidelines
Right.
and where are they looking to,
Yeah.
get.
Because like they said you can't have portable mats, but you can have regular. All of that is detailed in there.
Oh, really?
So
That thing must be thick.
it's not easy.
right.
It's not easy reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there. A lot of those questions are answered in those
Okay.
guidelines. So
We'll
Alrighty.
do our research
It's like, I
for
know
sure.
we got,
Yeah.
like, we had gotten dirt multiple times, and it was the same thing, like, they would come, like, they would pay for it, and it would come and get dumped, and then, of course, like, we had to put it on the field.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to remember what else, like, we put in for it. It was so much stuff, like, we used to take advantage of, Wances, too. Like, Wances does a lot for, the Chevy baseball thing. Like, I don't know if they do that for other sports or not, but that used to be a pretty good chunk of equipment and stuff that we could get through that. So
Right.
just ways to get some stuff that then the town doesn't have to pay for, or
Right.
that you guys don't have to raise registrations for or
Right,
fundraise
right.
for.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so I don't think we're gonna solve all the problems of the world tonight. I don't think.
Well-
There's a lot of talk and a lot of discussion that really needs to be had.
Right.
And have you discussed with like the city manager as far as your
Yeah.
budget and how that
Right.
could all reflect?
We were
You're
throwing
still in
around the
talks.
same,
Okay.
same ideas. Do we base it on registration? Do we base it on, an operating budget? Do we, how is that, measured out so that it is a more equitable distribution? So,
Yeah.
it sounds like that may be the way to go if everybody is in agreement. So, we'd review your operating budget, your financial statements, and then your registration numbers for the previous year. And then a percentage of the funding pool, which I would have to, again, backtrack and determine,
Yeah.
would then be allotted. With the smaller organizations receiving a minimum of like 10%, I think, would be fair to cover, what have you, right?
So
I
a
mean, yeah.
combination of the registrations and operating budget. Correct.
Right. And again, excluding safety issues. Obviously, if bleachers have broken, we'll replace those, or something to that effect, something that comes up, the nets were cut, or who knows what, you know,
If
kind of
it's-
thing.
Yeah,
Those-
somebody
those
goes off-roading, you know, on a
Right.
field. So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it looks like we did something.
all
Let's
right.
proud.
So do we have a plan then? Does everybody
Sound
think that
good.
that's a good approach to doing it that way?
I mean, we
All
can
right.
always, you know, obviously, we'll see how it goes
Try
and
it
then
once.
Yeah.
tweak as we go. I mean, it's a learning experience for Lorraine. Yeah. I mean, just know that, you know, we're not trying to, there has to be something to where
Right,
one doesn't get more than the other. We want to make it fair, and we do appreciate all of you very much for all your volunteer hours.
yes.
It's exhausting, I know.
Yeah, I just have to remember that these agreements like this are written in pencil, and
Right.
we have an eraser
Yeah,
when necessary to
okay.
make adjustments, so.
All right then, so then moving forward, then we'll start this, we'll try this out this coming fiscal year. So then, I guess by the, oh boy, by the end of the month, operating budgets? Financial statements shouldn't be too hard. You get a copy of that from your bank or an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, and you know your registration numbers.
So like mine, I have to get it ready for taxes. It's almost done, but it's
Okay.
broke down, like my bank statements are broke down and it's broke down for each one as a cost.
Okay,
That's how we do it. So
okay,
hopefully by the end of the month, I'll have everything you need then.
okay, all right then. Then
Okay.
Or no,
that-
that way you can see what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so by the end of the month, submit your requests, operating budget, financial statements, and registration numbers for the past year. And then we'll determine our funding pool, assign the percentages. Again, the smaller organizations receiving, you know, 10%, minimum 10%. And then I'll send that email out to everyone so everyone can see, okay, this is what each of the organizations are getting. And then work with each organization on, okay, this is your list, this is how much you've got, this is what we can probably, you know, what that amount will cover within your wish list.
Question for registration, is it for like the year 2024, or is it for like fiscal year?
No, we'll do it calendar year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking that'd be easier for you because especially for anyone who has spring and fall, right, you can just combine those numbers, yeah.
So then what we could do is like, once you have those numbers like allocated, like once you know how much exactly they are, then the programs can look and see, you know, is this gonna be enough to cover us, or is there like a shortfall? And the ones that have a shortfall, then maybe that's the ones we get aggressive with the county thing,
Mm-hmm,
to make up the difference.
right,
because
through the
we'll- 'cause,
self-help.
You know, by
Yeah.
the time we get to that point next September, August, September, should have an idea of how, you know, like you said, that 10% minimum for a smaller group, they might be like, hey, that was great, we're good, we don't need anything. But like soccer may have been like, hey, I know you gave us all this money, but we need more money, like we got all these kids. So then, you know, we go aggressive for soccer with the county.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've got a plan in place and we'll see how it works.
Does anybody have additional comments? So we're good? All right, well, this is exciting. All right, good plan. All right, so next meeting date. I'm still counting December, right? Lorena, so we'd meet again in January?
Right,
All right, so
Yeah.
January 15th.
yes.
Wow, just that fast. January 15th, starting at 6:30 right here. All right, and of course, if you have any questions, Lorena's just an email away. And then we'll dig deeper into the fun as we go.
Right. And also, as Jerry said, I'll reiterate, I'm happy to help out with applications for the self-help grants through the county. I know you were going to go for, I think, were you going to apply for the lighting? Possibly. Okay. Let me know if you want to move forward with that. I'll be happy to get contractors. I know I can get a quote from Rodkey and a couple of other electrical, you know, lighting contractors, because I think the county wants 3. We want 3 prices, 3 proposals for the grant.
Should we find out first, though, whether they're going to
You won't have enough time.
It-
You should be prepared.
Yeah,
Assume they're going to and just be prepared.
yeah. Right,
It's the wrong time of year to procrastinate. Those proposals take time.
yeah.
No, not them. The contractors, because she's got to have 3 quotes for what she wants. That's going to take time.
To get on top of that to prepare for the
Right.
spring, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the county has 30,000 left in that budget, but whether they
Hold it or
hold it or not, or
Hold
put
it
it back
or-
out for February is up in the air right now.
Yeah. Well, I know they're facing some budget issues, so
And
they
it-
may just take that and just roll that up into the general fund and take it away from,
Right, and that's the thing, like, you know how budgets work, like, it didn't all get used, so now, like, or it's like there wasn't a need for it, so they may lessen that budget moving forward, so that's why, like, we have to get everybody applying, because if we over-apply, then they might start putting more money towards it, so.
yeah.
We'll go with that plan.
Okay,
Everybody apply.
yeah.
All
Get the
12
budgets,
all 12 rec
yeah,
councils.
get the budget bigger.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
well then, if we don't have any additions or discussions, then you guys are good to go. And yeah, January 15th. So have a great holiday season.
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you
all
all
very
for
much
the
for all
hard
the
work you do
input.
all year long.
Yeah, hopefully you get to rest a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
Thank you all.
Thanks again.
Well, I don't know whether Dan's listening or not, but I can't hear most of, it breaks up. I don't know whether it's this unit or the microphones,
Oh dear,
but I only hear
bits and
Okay.
pieces.
bits and pieces.
Oh, boy, okay.
All righty. So, here we go again. Welcome to our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for November 13th. Of course, we did not meet last month, so our approval of minutes were from September 11th, 2024. Did everybody get their copy
Yep.
of said minutes? With that, if you don't need any time to review it, I will take a motion to approve minutes.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
All right, do I have a second?
Second,
Is there any additional information we need to add or discussion to anything? All right, so all in favor of approving the minutes from September 11th, please signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. You good? All right, we're good. All right, so here we go. Unfinished business, and I mean, for the most part, we did, touch on that at Taneytown Athletic Association meeting, so
Right, yeah.
whatever you need to do.
There's not much else to update on the Memorial Park expansion project. Just trying to get SHA's approval so we can move forward and get that actually started. Do you want me to just roll on?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if we don't
All
have
right.
anything,
Yeah, that's all I
we
have
know
on that.
that we're waiting on
Yeah.
SHA, so.
Update on general park improvements. So the Memorial Park tot lot and the THS Park field lighting installations are complete. As we know, the grant funding reimbursement requests have gone in. DNR is taking a little bit longer than usual to process those, but hopefully we'll get that funding back in shortly. We got chess/checker tables and chairs. For whatever reason, a lot of people have requested that. We can get a checker table or a chess table. I'm like, all right, but we're not providing the pieces. Sorry, you gotta bring your own. Right. So a set was put in at Roberts Mill Park, over under the trees near the playground. And then also at Memorial Park, again, under the trees by the large playground.
Okay.
So those look nice and hopefully they'll be used and well cared for. We replaced a bench at the pond at Roberts Mill. We had a couple of memorial plantings there. One was just a tree, the other one was a garden tree, bushes, rose bushes, whole
Mhm.
kit and caboodle. But it turned out very, very nice there. The train set, as we know, has been completed. The DPW guys did a fabulous job refurbishing
They
that.
did a wonderful
so,
job.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And that's been placed on the existing concrete pad that's between the middle road and the tennis courts. So it'll be easy access for decorating as well. A lot of the old wooden bollards at Memorial Park have been removed. Our plan is to remove all of them. They're decrepit, they're disintegrating, they're just unsightly and just frankly unsafe, especially when they come out and then there's a hole that somebody could, twist their ankle in or what have you. So the majority of them have been taken out and dirt packed in to the holes. So I think it already looks much better. The bollards that are between the Public Works maintenance shop and the large playground, they're still there. The sewer line rehab is going through that area, so they may be taken out then. But regardless, when those come out, we'll be putting up a fence, a wooden fence, like we have at THS Park and Roberts Mill Park. So that'll be a nice divider between the parking area there and the playground.
Okay.
So that'll be there, and then it'll kind of curve and go down the middle road a little bit, just to protect that playground
Yeah.
from cars. 3 trees were removed from Memorial Park. They were big ones last month due to their proximity to the sewer line. So while it was sad to see them go, the big one by the playground, actually, when they started taking it down, they discovered that it had heart rot. I mean, it was completely hollowed out in the center of the tree. So when that happens, that tree is going to come down, because it's weakened. There's nothing really strengthening it at its core. So it's a good thing that the sewer line project is happening for that tree to have been removed, because otherwise it could have come down on the playground.
Mhm.
I mean, that would have been, that could have been catastrophic, or on the maintenance shop, but, regardless, it still would have been a bad situation either way. At Bollinger Park, the mama bear was starting to lean forward quite a bit. She was looking like she was tipsy. So the guys did a great job. They gave her some Lieutenant Dan magic legs with some rebar on the back of her legs and kind of strapped her up. So she's reinforced now. She's standing up straight again, so that's good. The fountain at Roberts Mill is working again. The motor had to be rebuilt again. So it was still under warranty. So luckily that didn't cost
Yay.
us anything for that motor rebuild. I'm hoping that,
How much longer is it?
I
under
know,
warranty,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
Every
make
time they
sure.
build it.
Exactly. So hopefully that won't have to be rebuilt again. And all of the fall park inspections have been completed and the work list given to DPW. And as always, they've been very busy in the parks, and their work is always very much appreciated and always excellent. So just wanna give
Special
them-
thanks to the DPW carpenters
Yeah,
who rebuilt the train.
yes, they did a great job on
I
that.
haven't been able to see it
No,
in person,
yeah,
but I saw it on the photos.
yes, yeah.
And it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they did an awesome job, for sure.
A great addition to the park. It really is.
That's all I've got for general park improvements.
Now, when you said the ballards are being taken off of Memorial
Yeah.
Drive, is anything going to replace that? You said you're doing a fence on the other. but there's nothing-
Just a fence at the park, between the small parking area and the large red and blue playground.
Okay,
But that's it. Like all along Park Drive
it's gonna be,
and
okay,
the parking lot up
Okay.
by the War Memorial, they're all gonna be
okay.
gone.
So right now, we're just kind of going with fingers crossed and hope that nobody takes advantage of the fact that they're not there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for people who wanted to drive their cars out there, I mean, they were doing it anyway. Yeah, because there were gaps
Yeah.
where,
Yeah, we've seen them.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've been
we've seen
removed or
'em.
what have you. Yeah.
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 All right. No, I'm just hoping, I mean, they are unsightly. I mean, so I'm glad they're going.
Yeah.
about time, but yeah.
Right,
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
yeah.
All right, does anybody have any questions on anything so far? Okay. 2024 event.
Yep, we've only got a couple left. We've got the Christmas tree lighting on December 7th, Christmas tree lighting and the candy cane hunt, and then we have our holiday decorating contest. So that's it. That'll wrap up the calendar year. I'd love some volunteers to help hide candy canes for the candy cane hunt this year, if anybody is interested. We are going to do that staggered. We'll hide them all over the place, but then we'll say, okay, age group 5 and under, go. And then, after
Do
15
we
minutes.
have like some kind of tape or something to mark it? No.
No, I know we had discussed this before, and
Orange Bonnie.
right,
I don't know.
right. So we weren't going to do the segments like we do with the Easter egg hunts,
Yeah.
the specific hunt areas. We were just going to kind of stagger it as far as timing. So the candy canes will be hidden all over the place, but then, okay, the 5 and under will get, like a 10-minute head start, and then,
Okay.
after 10 minutes of them doing their thing, then, 6 to 8, and then 9 and older, or whatever kind of thing. We can do it that way. I think that'll work best, as opposed to logistically trying to carve out the areas.
Yeah. Okay.
So, we'll do that. And we're not announcing the color until just before we say ready, set, go. That way we don't have the kids picking up, ooh,
yeah.
this is a prize winner, I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the Christmas tree lighting, it's gonna be the same as it has been in past years. We'll have the wagon rides. Of course, Santa's arriving at 5:30. We're gonna have Trinity Lutheran has some choral choir members who'll be performing for us. Got that confirmed. Food trucks, we'll have food adventures, and it's all good. Oh my gosh, is that a calf?
Yes, Tasha asked if we'd like to have her calf that has a reindeer costume,
A petting zoo
like a little, yeah.
at the Christmas tree lighting?
I said just bring the cow and walk it
Oh
around.
my gosh, you really have it standing there next to
Next to
Santa's
Santa,
chair.
yeah.
He's got a
That's
little, he's got a little
cute.
reindeer costume.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's
yeah.
adorable.
I think that would be cute too.
Yeah.
On the Christmas tree lighting.
Yeah.
There was a thing in the paper about a second Christmas tree lighting.
Here?
That's for the
Police department,
Main
they've,
Street.
yeah, that tree, the tree that's there at the police station, the Main Street, they're doing the Small Business Saturday, the Thanksgiving weekend. So it'll be Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and I think that's when they're having their little event, and then they'll flip the lights at the police station tree. So I don't know. So yeah, so we'll have.
Seems like somebody forgot to talk to somebody.
I don't know, they did it last year, so it seemed to work well for them.
There was-
Well, I think the problem goes with people that have been around, like you and I. That's where our Christmas tree lightings were for the longest time, at the police station. So it can create that confusion,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
But if we push the Small Business Saturday, but make sure that somehow, if city staff are involved in that, to make sure that they also announce the big
Right,
lighting the following weekend,
yes.
maybe. So,
And we're getting another big tree from Sewell's. Yeah, the guys are gonna go, DPW is gonna go pick that up this Friday morning and get that fixed up there. And then it'll be us decorating between now and December 7th. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so, but then that'll be that. And the holiday decorating contest, we'll do the same thing that we did with Halloween and last year. We'll divide and conquer, and then I'll send out all the pictures, and then y'all
I
will
think
decide.
it's better that way.
Yeah,
It's a little easier.
yeah,
Than trying to see,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
100
all of
homes.
them,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That works.
All right.
Any other updates?
That's all I have
Okay.
on events.
New business. All right, so we're
Oh,
talking.
wait a minute, I'm sorry, I do have additional miscellaneous updates, sorry.
Yeah.
So save the date for the MRPA annual conference, that's Maryland Recreation and Parks Association. It's gonna be in Cambridge again this year, and it's April 8th through the 10th. So if you're interested in going, let me know. I'll check in with you as we get closer to the registration date. But it's a good conference, and every single topic is relative to Parks and Rec, obviously. And it's a great opportunity to network and get some really good ideas. We got a lot of good ideas at last year's, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Let me know. And also, as I said in the TAA meeting, we definitely have experienced a spate of vandalism in the parks lately. We have requested an increase in police park patrol. But if anyone is listening, please, if you see some suspicious activity, please, please, please call the police department, because it's your taxpayer money that goes towards the repairs, unless someone can be apprehended and made to pay restitution to
Yeah.
cover the damages.
I was gonna, say that. It's your taxpayers' dollars at work for the guys spending that time cleaning
Right.
all the equipment.
Yeah.
Plus it's not good. Need to save money.
Yeah. It's one thing, I know the common response is, well, we need to let kids be kids.
Not that.
They can do that without being destructive.
Right.
I mean, there are
Yeah,
other
you can have,
activities. Yeah,
no destructive
right.
behavior
Yeah.
at all.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm finished with old business. Yeah, unfinished business.
All right. So let's talk some post-events that we've had. That's pretty exciting. We had a couple
Yeah.
really good events. So
We have, yeah. Yep.
Harvest Fest.
Harvest Festival.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Saturday, September 28th. We started out with some pretty soggy weather. It was pretty rough.
It was pretty
But
wet.
we ended up having a good turnout and everybody had a good time. So the vendors were still happy after all was said and done. So that's good. We budgeted $6,500 for the event and we used all but $1,300 for it. So that $1,300 covers other events like Birds and Bourbon at Bollinger.
The vendors were happy and so were the purchasers.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's hard. I go around and I check all the vendors, check on them all, get feedback from them and everything. But obviously I see their products and I'm like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And it's like, oh my God, I can't hold myself back. So Birds and Bourbon at Bollinger, Sunday, September 29th. We ended up selling 10 out of 15 available tickets. The event was well received and enjoyed. I think next year we should go with a Saturday to avoid the Sunday football draw. And I know we had already discussed increasing the number of attendees to 20 instead of 15. Keep the price the same, 25. And then that will help the event be self-sustaining in the future, I think. So we didn't budget anything for it but we came up with the idea, the budget had already been adopted. So our expenses came out to $413. That does not include the binoculars because that was just a one-time expense. Ticket sales were 225, so we had a deficit or a loss of 113. Not too bad. And again, that 1,300 that we didn't use for Harvest Fest covered that.
Well, and it gave us a good idea if people were going to go for it.
Right.
And the people that did attend really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
So I think we should put $200 in the budget toward it, and just to cover, just in case, what have you. And then, again, changing it to the Saturday, we'll probably have more ticket sales, and then we'll be good going forward. And if we don't need that $200, then again, it can go towards, prizes for the scavenger hunts or what have you.
yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay. So those two.
Tales of Taneytown.
That was Saturday, October 26th, and we had a great turnout. The weather was perfect. It was fabulous. So I want to thank again our sponsors, Thunderhead Bowl, Tawny Service Center, and Buddy's Place Grooming, and to the judges for helping out with that. And the Chamber of Commerce did a great job on the trunk or treat. The Main Street volunteers did the pumpkin painting. That went really well. I mean, it was a really good day. We had a lot of contestants. We had the most contestants for the pet parade and contest that we've had
Really?
in previous years. So, yeah, and again, some tough choices.
Any
Most of these
strange
people were-
animals
yeah.
that appeared?
No, just
No? Oh,
dogs.
okay,
All
just dogs.
dogs. We didn't even
Someday-
we didn't even
someday
have
it'll
any
happen.
cats.
You know, for.
I know, lizard, turtle,
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah, something. Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever see that llama again, but oh well. Anyway, so that was a good day.
All
Good
right.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is fun. I know a lot of, we've seen some people like really prepare for that.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
go
with
all out.
costumes and also, that's super cool.
Yes.
All right, the Halloween decorating contest.
Yeah, I think for our first one, I think it went really well. A lot of people got into it. We
too.
ended up with I think 11 properties, 11 houses to go take a look at. And 79 Keenan won first, 20 Grant won second, and 38 Bison won third. And 70 Keenan it was a close call there for third place, but they ended up winning the raffle drawing for ambassadors
Okay.
for the gift certificate for $25. So that was good. And then prizes were gift cards from local businesses, so it helps support them as
Yeah.
well. So thank
Very
you
nice.
to all of you for taking a look, taking the pictures, and then judging the entries. Appreciate that.
All right. And to the hardest part, now to talk about the photography contest.
Ooh, boy, I'm telling you.
Can I tell
Oh,
you?
my goodness.
So the photography contest, Lorena sent us everybody's pictures, and it blew me away. I was like, I like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
Yeah.
That was the hardest ever.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
we need to
had-
do something with that. We do need to make a calendar
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
something.
We had
We need to do something.
we had
stick it-
175 entries this year.
The major-
175.
So thank you,
Just the
Taneytown, for
major,
stepping up. That was very exciting, but
Yeah.
that's hard to judge, definitely.
Yeah, we had 119 entries in the nature category alone. That's a lot. That's a lot of pictures to go through.
Yeah.
That's a
But I think
lot
you
of
all did a great
pretty-
job in making your selections. I know it wasn't easy. I know there were a lot.
There are enough more than excellent
Mm-hmm.
nature pictures
Yeah.
for us to do a calendar.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, we should definitely utilize them somehow,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure how.
right. I know we've talked
Um,
about the calendar before.
Or postcards or,
Well, and
like, I
and
don't
I think
know.
I sent a message to Lorena saying, even if we took the top nature winners
Mhm.
and did like the canvassed option, and just, we could hang them either in City Hall for the year, or we could hang them in, somewhere that they would be seen by the community.
Mhm.
Like, the bowling alley has, spaces that they rent out, but they're not always full. They
Right.
might allow, like, to put that in there, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, another place that, draws.
The visibility.
And plus, I mean, the bowling alley donates to all this stuff all the time,
Right.
so.
Right.
Or if there's like a restaurant, sometimes you go to restaurants and you see local things
Yeah,
too.
exactly. So just somewhere.
I don't know.
Even the
A
doctor's
business,
offices in the
whatever.
area,
It doesn't
like,
matter.
they may
Right,
have
just
just a
as long as
wall that we
somebody
could
can,
just,
see them.
and just so that we can, show everybody how much talent we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was definitely, that one of Bollinger, like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I should mention that, so the prize winners. So top prize went to Jamie Perry for her picture taken in Ballinger Park. And yeah, that could be a postcard by
definitely.
itself.
Beautiful.
That was gorgeous.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah. Was that 89? I think that was number 89.
That sounds
It was
right.
the Ballinger Park and the Pollinator Meadow path with the sunset going down
And the
and the flowers in
and
the
the-
front.
oh,
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was gorgeous. She did a great job.
Yeah. And that was her only entry, too.
She knew it was a good
Just
one.
one and done. Yeah, that's right. So first and second prize in nature went to Caitlin Kreitz and Heather Wilson for their pictures at Roberts Mill and Ballinger. First and second prize in action went to Kira Wedding and Catherine Heiss for their pictures taken at Memorial Park and THS Park. First and second prize in play went to Kira Wedding and Valerie Rockwood for their pictures taken both at Roberts Mill Park. And prizes were gift cards and free pavilion rentals. So thank you to all of you. It definitely wasn't easy with 175 submissions to look at. And thanks to everyone who submitted those entries.
I was just looking, I was
really
like,
good
I'd
ones.
look at everyone and go, that's so cute.
They were just, yeah.
So thank you, Taneytown, for stepping up and actually, getting in our parks and really appreciating what we have. So all the photographs were awesome. So we appreciate it.
I just had I'm not gonna mention who, just sent me a message and just said, we could always put some of those pictures under the storyboards when they're not being used at the park too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They're always in use, though.
Okay.
They are. I've got to look.
We go from one story to
Straight
the
to the next one.
next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I really would love to have allocate some funding towards replacements on those.
Oh, the actual boards themselves,
Yeah,
There it is.
there.
they need help.
Yeah,
There it is.
no.
There it is, Jeremy.
Yeah, find something
Oh, yeah.
that's not crazy expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's listening and
Look
you
at
have
options.
ideas of how we can utilize some of the pictures. Let us know, because I definitely want to show them off. They were
They should,
great.
yes.
No matter what we decide, what
I
anybody
wonder if we
decides
could
they
make
can do
our
with
own
them.
storybook, like a stroll at
Just have to get
Bollinger,
permission from the
Oh, with just the
photographer.
pictures?
with just the pictures of what, throughout the seasons or whatever.
Right.
Little section. I don't know.
What would, the canvas thing that you're talking about, like, how many pictures would you put on it? Like
Well, see,
10
and
or
I think that's
12
really,
or-
it just depends on, I mean, because you can make, as, when they put these pictures on the canvas, it's like
Yeah.
the print on the actual canvas. So, I mean, they can be, any different size that we wanted to utilize in a specific area. So like you could do, several picture, like, what do they call those? Groups of pictures. When they put them on the
Collage.
wall, like,
Yeah. Oh, I
so
was
it
thinking
just-
of, when you mentioned it, I was thinking like of a larger canvas with like a collage of all of the prize winners on there, like here's top prize.
Right, well, see, and to
and
me,
then,
that
like, framed
takes
with
away a little
borders.
bit from the
Oh.
actual picture itself. Like, I wanted like a real, just, so it almost looks like a beautiful painting type, where you see
Right.
these, but, I'm trying, then they have, the story I always see is at the outlets in Delaware. They have the place where they do all the canvassed
Right.
pictures. But I've seen where people can put their own photos on them.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if we came up with, like, what size it would be, then we could go to the businesses and the grocery stores, or, like, just places that are gonna be, that see a lot of traffic, the library, and
Did they
and
want to
just
sponsor one?
well, and just see, no, well, maybe, but just see, like, if they would be willing, if they have a space that they'd be willing to hang it. And then see what kind of interest we get, decide how many we want to do. Do we want to put, 5 out around the town, 10 out around town, like, and then, see how much they cost and all that kind of stuff. But, like, if we came up with the design and, like, the size, I think it would be easier to, like, pitch it to the places, because they would know what,
Right.
what they'd have to allow for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and we could even utilize the fact that it is an annual thing, where then you switch out the pictures every year. At the end of the year, maybe we hold an auction off the pictures, just to make a little bit of money back to put back into,
The
whatever
prizes
it
or
is that we're
whatever.
doing for,
Yeah.
And if
the
for
program or
some reason
whatever
that
else.
place, had it for a year and decided they didn't want to the next year, then
Then we-
you know,
yeah,
then
then
we
we
could
just move
try to
on to
find
somewhere else.
find another place. Yeah, but I was thinking try to hit like, like bowling alley, grocery stores, just places that's a lot of the traffic
Right,
hits, like
right.
so a lot of the people in the town, can see them.
Yeah, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to have some of those pictures, because they were just
Yeah.
so beautiful. I just
Yeah, really, for sure.
neat way for people to get to see them.
Well, would the library
Or
be
what you
willing
could do,
to? Yeah.
you could put like let's say it was big enough that you could do like 4 of them on one thing. You could, if let's say we were going to do 10 of them, you could put 4 different pictures on each one, so that like no matter like where they were, like if I went in the food line and I saw one, it would have different pictures than if I went into Kenny's and saw, or the one at the bowling alley would have, four other ones.
Right.
So that way, instead of just doing like the top, 3 or 4, however many, like, you could actually put like 40 of those pictures out,
All
like,
over.
out and around
And I feel like
town.
people would go to those places to see them. Like, it would get to a point where they'd be like, where are the other ones? Maybe
Right.
I'd like to go check them out
Right.
and pop into other places.
Mm.
You know?
Good
Yeah.
ideas, for sure.
Something else to think about. Put it on
Yeah.
the list.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
So much to do.
Yeah.
I know. Well, if you come up with any other ideas, throw it out to Lorena. Same goes for anybody that's watching. If you have any great ideas about how we can, show off these pictures, let us know. Does anybody have any questions additional? All right. Is there any reports from mayor and council?
No, I don't think I have anything.
No? Okay. Well, there's no public comments, so, do you have anything, Bill?
No.
Jerry, do you have anything?
I think I've said enough tonight.
It was
Tonight,
nice.
Jerry.
Stop.
Yes. No, we appreciate it. All right, well, with that said, do you have anything additional, Lorena? Okay.
No, I'm good.
So with this, we will not be meeting next month. We are taking December to, I guess, get ready for Santa. So we will be meeting then January 15th, 2025. So we have lots of things happening. I
Yeah,
know,
it'll be here
it's
before we
flying
know it.
by. So with that.
Yeah, that'll be after the TAA meeting, and also just want to make you all aware, we have to elect our secretary in
Okay.
January per
Oh, that's right.
town
Yep,
code,
yep,
right?
yep.
Per city code, yeah.
All right. Secretary, thank you. All right, so with that, yep, TAA goes first, and then we're right after that. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Move, we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is good. All right, everybody, have a great holiday season. Please come out to our tree lighting, and we look forward to seeing you. All right.
Good night.
Thank you.